If you have a security clearance, especially high-level security clearances, your contracts and your consulting gigs pay you a lot more money because of the access that you have. I hope the president continues to do this.
Profitable, Paris. When I am requested to sit on an advisory board, let me ask you one question. How much do you think I'm paid to do that at the request of the U.S. government? Give me one answer, and you got 10 seconds. How much?
I'll ask you a question. How much are you paid for your consulting and contracting gig?
I have no contracts with the U.S. government that pay money.
I'm not talking.
Zero.
And this is the thing.
When
I'm not talking about what the federal government.
When I'm asked to offer advice to the U.S. government, I get paid
honest.
Zero.
Phil, let's be
That's
honest.
it.
I'm not talking about your role with the federal government. I'm talking about the
who are you
contracting
talking about?
gigs that you
talking
get
about
from
General
being a
Hayden?
consultant and a contractor. The consulting firms that they form and that you all get is because you get more money when having a consultant for having the security clearance.
That
Stop
is
acting
incorrect.
like that doesn't happen.
I have
That's
zero consulting relationships with the U.S. government. Zero.
I'm not talking, Phil, that's a good talking point. I'm not talking about relationships with the government. I'm talking about in the private sector. When you have a security clearance and you keep it.
I have zero relationships with the private sector that involve my security clearance. Zero. I get $0 from consulting companies that deal with the U.S. government. Are we clear?
Well, I will be clear in saying that everybody in Washington, D.C. knows if you don't want to be honest about it, that's on you. But if you have a security clearance and you keep it, you get more money to have it.
We're done. Get out.
Phil, it's not your show, so I'm staying right here. Don't be so defensive about this.
Get out.
Don't be so defensive about this. Your voice is still here. You can still do whatever you want. But the politicalization of the intelligence community under this administration, with the people coming on here every day, tweeting and talking about this administration, you all have made it about politics.
Okay, so to understand what Paris is getting at here, you kind of have to be a little bit familiar in the ways of the swamp. And so basically, this was a throwback to the Trump era when CNN became the anti-Trump network, and they had a never-ending parade and revolving door of ex-CIA people and ex-government officials, whatever, talking about, oh, Trump is so bad, blah, blah, blah. And what Paris is getting at here is the fact that a lot of these sort of ex-government officials with security clearances, et cetera, there's a revolving door that they go through to speak about things in the cable news networks, and they get very, very high consulting fees because of their security clearance and because of their access to media. That is what they get paid to do. And so the reason that this guy got so upset, basically screaming at Paris, is because Paris pretty much exposed his grift for everybody to see on national television. And I think that it goes above the heads sometimes of people that kind of consume this stuff and don't really know how the sausage gets made on the back end. But this is basically how it works. You go work for the federal government for a couple of years, you get a security clearance, you have all that stuff, then you say, okay, well, I've done my service, I've done my time, let me get out. You get crazy consulting fees from people in the private sector that want said access to the government officials that you used to work for. And then when you go on the cable news networks, you're basically promoting yourself to these people who want to use you to get access to the government officials that you don't work for in any official capacity anymore. So that's how the swamp works. That's how the whole game works. And the reason that this guy was so mad at Paris is because Paris pretty much exposed the entire operation.